Starting over is actually a superpower and not a detriment. If you're starting over from a relationship, from a failed business, from getting fired from a job, or just life in general has gotten you to a place where you are looking at the starting line again, I have got three things for you to do before you even consider running down life's track again. Most of us have been around this track many, many times. We have started over for so many different reasons. I have done this dozens of times myself. Well, who am I? My name is Eric Thomas. I'm the founder and CEO of Elite Outcome Academy, an academy that I founded for the betterment of myself first. I'm the very first student, and so far, things are going pretty good. The people that I talk to and teach these things to also find empowerment from my strategies and the way that I formulate and break things down. So, where did all of this begin? Well, back in high school, I had started over so many times from the formation of quitting that a punk rock band in high school actually wrote a song about me. The band is called the Lot Lizards, and the song was titled, "Why Does Eric Thomas Quit Everything?" And after another 20 years of processing, starting over, I really figured out the formula of what to do before even crossing the starting line. But walking up to the starting line can be difficult. It feels heavy. It feels like you're unproductive or unsuccessful or whatever it is that's holding you back from starting the race again. And so I created 3 strategies here to teach you today that I've done to help you be confident when you walk up to the starting line of whatever it is, whether job, relationships, whether it's with family, friends, whatever it is. These are the things that you have to do. But you might be feeling like it sounds easier to say than do. And to a degree, that's correct. Some things are easier said than done. But you can't do anything without first preparing. You cannot run down the track without first warming up, without having the right gear, without having your shoes tied, without looking down the track and understanding the boundaries of the track that you're running. If you run on like a built track, it's just an oval, but some tracks are for like cross country are all over the place. And you have to identify and understand the terrain. You have to understand your capabilities. You have to understand your need for successfully getting to the finish line, which in its own is a whole nother subject. I believe in deleting the finish line. That's a whole nother topic for another day. So let's step into the first piece of preparing to walk up to the starting line again. The first thing you have to do is you have to tighten your shoes, right? If you're going to run, you got to tighten your shoes. You don't want your shoes falling off. There's a bunch of these little steps like this that you have to do when starting over in life as well. If you are stepping up to the starting line and you are just feeling like, is it worth it? Is it something I even want to do? You first have to analyze your knowledge of that track. So let's say the track is relationships. Well, if you've been through relationships, friendships, family ships, marriages, whatever it is, then you have gained a set of knowledge that allows you to be prepared to run the track again. And in that preparedness, you've discovered boundaries. You've discovered boundaries that you will or will not allow in your life. Okay, let's shift away from the metaphors for a minute. You have had friendships that either have excelled or declined or completely gone away, or friendships that start anew. When you're going through these, beginning stages or middle stages or long-term circumstances of a friendship, You understand what you won't do. You understand what they won't do. Vice versa, you understand what you will do for somebody and what you expect out of that relationship as well. These are the boundaries. Unfortunately, when we start to fail or we falter, it's usually because we ourselves have stepped outside of the bounds. Let's go back to the metaphor of running on a track. You have to stay on the track, or you have to stay on the course to not be penalized or to not like trip in the grass or whatever it is. You have to stay within the bounds of the actual track. It's the same thing in life. You have to figure out what the boundaries are, and you have to stay within them. And if you continue to not do the work to set or identify those boundaries for yourself, from yourself, and for yourself from others, then you will continually be slowed down. You won't stay on the track. You'll get outside of what you feel comfortable with. And sometimes those boundaries mean discomfort as well. Sometimes setting boundaries is something that you have to do, even with those in your life that are most important to you and that you feel they will be affected the most. But it's really you that these boundaries are set for. Because if you allow things to come into your life and be part of your life that you don't agree with or that you don't align with, then you're never really going to gain the traction or gain the speed necessary in order to becoming your better and best self. Does this make sense? I hope that it does. Step 2, in stepping up to the starting line, warming up to run a race, you need to do a little bit of stretching. So stretching can help you to prevent injury. It can help you to be a little bit more limber. It can help you be more capable of pushing your body to its greatest use. So let's step out of the metaphor here again. When you stretch yourself mentally, you come to a place where you understand more fully all of the things around you, okay? The stretching your mind, so metaphor, looking down the track, or you have run the track so many times that you know all of the cracks, all of the turns, all of the obstacles, and you're prepared for them as you go along. But you have to stretch beyond that when going into a new phase of life, starting over. You have to stretch a bit, because if you stay closed into the way you ran the last race, whether it was in a relationship or business or whatever it be in life, if you don't stretch outside of that to gain a better and new perspective on the boundaries, on your capabilities, on the knowledge that you have, then you are just going to run the exact same race the exact same way. So you have to stretch your boundaries. You have to stretch your mindset. You have to stretch out the way that you communicate with people. And when you do that, you get to warm up to the fact of that you are now more confident, that you have more self-esteem, and that you have more capability. So what does this look like in practical sense? It means getting a little bit uncomfortable. We don't walk around all day just stretching, but we do stretch before a race. And stretching means putting yourself in positions that you wouldn't normally be in, right? We're not at the grocery store typically, fingers to toes, bending over stretching, or looking all weird, pulling our quad muscles up, putting our foot towards our back to stretch our quads, things like that. But you have to do it before you exercise or run, because it helps prevent injury to some degree. You got to do this within yourself and within your relationships and the people around you as well. So setting boundaries with somebody is like stretching. You wouldn't normally do it, but now you have to. Because if you don't, you're risking injury again. So you have somebody in your life that crosses your boundaries and makes you feel uncomfortable and makes you do or act in ways that you would normally not and that you don't internally agree with. So you got to stretch and set those boundaries. Contrary to that, you have to look for new boundaries to stretch towards, right? You have to stretch yourself towards asking questions that you normally wouldn't ask, approaching people that you would normally not approach. You have to stretch out and become a version of you that can now run towards your goal, runs towards your better and best self, to become a version of you that is capable of breathing correctly, pushing through the limits, understanding the boundaries, creating new boundaries, and now running the race that you know will help lead you towards your greatest and best version of you. Does this make sense? I hope that it does. And if it's not, let me know below. Comment below and we can help break this down further, because part of my stretching is making these videos and is making content to help other people do the things that I have done, because man, my life is just so much better because of it. And before we move on to the third step from this short little training here, I just wanted to point you down towards the description of the video. There's a link down there that has a training that really breaks down a lot of these concepts in a more tangible way. And I call it's my identity identifying a course. Okay, it's an identifier that allows you to really break down who you are, who you've been, the skills and capabilities that you have that you either are not aware of, that you don't know that you have, or that you're using incorrectly. And so go take that free class if you'd like. Really help you break down and warm up and stretch out and create boundaries and identify the things that will help you get past the starting line again. With that, we're going to move on to step 3. I almost said 2. Step 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about getting new gear. Getting new gear. If you're starting over again, you're hitting that finish line again, you got to start with new gear. You've been running the race over and over and over, and most likely experiencing the same result. But the result isn't the focus. The outcome needs to be the focus. And in order to run that race differently, you have to set boundaries, you have to stretch, and you have to get new gear. Let's talk metaphorically. If you're going to run a race, you got to get new shoes. You got to change your clothes because they're sweaty and gross, and you got to heal up your knees from falling and scraping them up, right? You got to get new gear, new shoes, new clothes, and heal up the scrapes and bruises and bumps from crawling across the line or falling on the other end of the track and getting back up towards the starting point. So now what does this look like? Not metaphorically. Well, you're having holes in your shoes is like having low faith. If you have low faith in yourself, we got to fix that. We got to look at what skills did you gain the last time around the track? Did you learn how to communicate better? Did you learn how to identify what you will and won't do or be a part of? Did you gain new insight and capability of really thinking through the obstacle? Guaranteed you did to some degree. Whether you will or will not utilize those skills is the question. But you got to identify those skills, identify the new gear that you have in order to really be prepared to run the race of a relationship, of business, of a new job, whatever it is. So in order to do this, in order to go out and get new gear, you first have to do some self-care, okay? You have to be willing to work on you before you can start a race. Runners do a lot of conditioning. They do a lot of working out. They do a lot of breath technique. They do these things, and these are self-care proponents to running a successful competitive race. You have to do the same thing. And for me, I like hacks. If you are watching my videos, you know that I love incorporating hacks. So for me, self-care looks like service to others. And I feel really good about myself and feel more confident and capable when I go out and I'm at service of others. So maybe for you, it's volunteering at a homeless shelter or an animal shelter, or maybe going on a visit that you haven't been on in a long time for a friend or family member, or maybe it's community service to some degree, or maybe even just sending gratitude texts or whatever. These things, for me, allow me to feel much more confident and alive and capable of being able to step up to that starting line again. So you got to go get new gear. You got to get a new mindset, which I've got videos on doing that. You got to go out and wash the emotion out of the pain and the past. You got to do things that allow you to reset, refocus, rehydrate, and be prepared for the starting line. And as you do so, you will be much more confident and full of much more self-esteem, because you'll know exactly what you have done, what the results of those circumstances are for you, whether it's being braver, whether it's being more capable as a communicator, whatever it is, okay? You got to kind of go and flush those ideas out of the last time around the track and think about how things have changed, because they have. It's never the same each time around. And the brilliant part about this is that if you do the work, you do the boundary setting, you do the stretching of your mind and your body, and you go out and you get new gear for the next time around, oh boy, is life so much more fulfilling. It just is. It doesn't mean it's not hard. Physical running is hard. It is. And so is mental conditioning and emotional conditioning. These things are tough, but I hope that these videos that I'm creating are helpful for you. I hope that if you're ready to start over, that I can be a friend during that journey. And if you really want to dive into how focusing on becoming the better and best version of yourself, check out the channel. There's more videos to go through on mindset and growth and overcoming and mental health and all of these different deals. So if this has been helpful for you, hit the notification button so next time a video comes on, I can share my ideas with you and maybe help you get to a place of feeling successful, even in the smallest areas of life. Until next time, take care. I hope you have a great day. And if you need anything, please comment, message, email me. I'd be glad to help out. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.